Second round continues on Sunday. I'm going to give you all 8 games for Sunday NCAA tournament with analysis, free plays, analysis, inside information, everything I've got for you coming up free right now, right here. Hi, this is Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, right back here on WagerTalk TV. I'm doing this video early for you Saturday afternoon. I'm digging into the 8 matchups for Sunday. Thought I'd record a video as I go over the matchups for my own handicapping, and hopefully you'll get a benefit from it as well. If you're finding it useful, thumbs up, like, and comment below. I read the comments. I reply back. I've done every game so far for you in the NCAA tournament free here in videos, and I'll continue to do it for the Sweet 16, the Elite 8, the Final Four. If we get enough thumbs up, likes, enough positive comments below, I'll keep it coming. Make sure you also click subscribe and click that bell for an instant alert so you never miss out when these free plays or videos are posted each and every day. All right, we're going to go down in rotation order as we've been doing, and we'll start with the betting rotation, which is the East Region, second round. First game on the rotation goes at 2:40 Eastern Sunday, Baylor and Duke, followed by Connecticut and Florida, which is the early game at noon. We'll get to that in a moment. Duke was the favorite coming in. Florida was the second favorite, and they both play here in this region on Sunday in the early games. And hard to go against either team. They're powerhouse teams. I think those two, along with Auburn, are the 3 best teams coming into the tournament. We'll see how it plays out after this weekend. Baylor, a little bit of a surprise for me against Mississippi State. I thought Mississippi State was the better team. Both Baylor and Mississippi State very mediocre. Thought the Bulldogs made some serious coaching errors down the stretch. Probably could have won that game. Did not take a good 3 at the end, even though they pulled the comeback. And Baylor escaped with a 3-point win. Huge step up in class now against a Duke team that just rolled Mount St. Mary's, never in question. And the big news, of course, is that Cooper Flagg came back and played and looked healthy, looked fine. So Duke is back at full strength, and they're going to be a tough team to beat. Concern, of course, with Duke is that the ACC looked horrible in the round of 64. North Carolina, Clemson, Louisville, all getting blown out, never even competitive. But that's how the regular season was as well. Duke was really the class of this conference. And Baylor plays extremely slow half-court basketball. Normally that could be a matchup problem. Thing is, Duke is more of a half-court team now under Shire than they were under Coach K, and they hold all the matchup edges here as well. Early line on this game opened 11.5. It's already been bet up to 12. I would agree with that move. Total's holding steady at 143.5. So once again, if you're going to play it, it would lay with the Duke Blue Devils. It's a big number, but they look like they have a huge edge in this game. And even with the slow tempo, not sure Baylor's going to be able to hang. Baylor has gotten healthy finally, but they miss big man down low still. They lost their center a couple months ago, and Duke's one of the biggest teams in the country, so not a good matchup edge. No matchup edge for Baylor in this one. All right, the next game is the first game on Sunday at 12:10 Eastern, same region. And these games, by the way, in Raleigh, North Carolina, so Duke will have a huge home court edge once again in Raleigh. Not as much for either Connecticut or Florida. UConn, back-to-back defending national champs, kept their season alive as an 8 seed, beating Oklahoma and covering. We did have a client best bet on Connecticut Friday night against Oklahoma. They led that game by margin most of the way, got a little close at the end, but they were the better team. The problem for, of course, Connecticut this season has been their defense. They're just not a good defensive team at times, and that's really why they are in an 8 seed and probably not going to be a 3-time national champ. It most likely ends here against Florida, who's a really good team. The one edge, a couple edges actually, but I do think the one big edge here that concerns you that UConn might have is the coaching edge. You've got Dan Hurley, back-to-back national championships against Todd Golden, who just won his first tournament game ever, believe it or not, in that easy win against Norfolk State. So I do think Connecticut is the coaching edge here as a dog, and it's a pricey line, but the early money, once again, just like Duke, has come in on the favorite. Gators have gone from 8.5 up to 9.5. The other edge that I think UConn could have in this is the matchup edge, slowing things down. Connecticut's one of the 20 slowest teams in the country. Florida's one of the top 70 in tempo. So once again, we get a slow-down half-court team in UConn against a Florida team that likes to play up tempo. We also get the coaching experience edge with UConn as well. But Florida's the better offensive team and a much, much better defensive team. That's the huge edge for either team here, is Florida's defense ranks top 15 efficiency. UConn was outside the top 100 for a good part of the season. Now they're around 80th. So once again, UConn's going to have to start playing better defense if they want to make a run here in the tournament. You look over their season numbers overall, they were just 5-5 straight up against Quad 1 teams this year. They were a solid 4-2 though against Quad 1A teams though, like Florida. And after the Oklahoma win, now 6-5 against Quad 1 teams overall. Defense got a little bit better down the stretch, but once again, nothing crazy. Tempo in this game could be deciding the total as well. Florida to the over, Connecticut to the under, probably somewhat correlated. But you've seen the line go the opposite way. Florida's gone from 8.5 to 9.5, yet the total has dropped from 152 down to 151 as of Saturday afternoon. Stay in the East region, but we'll move locations for the next two games, and these are taking place in Cleveland, Ohio, Sunday night, 6 o'clock Eastern, St. Mary's in Alabama. St. Mary's come from behind victory against Vanderbilt on Friday. They're trailing most of the game, but they pulled it out. I actually think they could carry some of that momentum into this game now, and it's a great matchup edge for St. Mary's, as they're one of the slowest teams in the country, and Alabama wants to play fast. In fact, Alabama plays at the fastest tempo of all 364 teams in the country. Nobody plays faster than Alabama. Meanwhile, St. Mary's is one of the 5 slowest teams in the nation. Whenever you get slow versus fast, especially with just 1 day of preparation and rest and practice, I think that benefits the slow-down half-court team. So this could really frustrate Alabama. Side and total are definitely correlated in this one, and we've seen the early money coming on Alabama in the over. It's gone from 5 up to 5.5. Total's been bumped from 148 up to 149. I do think St. Mary's under, Alabama over, obviously correlated. In this situation, though, I prefer the half-court matchup. If St. Mary's can slow this game down, they could pull the upset and are a live dog at plus 5.5. Also in Cleveland at 8:40 Eastern, Michigan State and New Mexico. Michigan State should have a big crowd edge here. They got pretty loud on Friday night when they pulled ahead over Bryant. Slow start for the Spartans, but as expected, they dominated the second half. We did have a strong client best bet on Michigan State, and I expect that momentum to continue here against a New Mexico team that's coming off a nice win against Marquette, but are going to be outclassed in this game. One thing that's nice about Michigan State is they don't rely a lot on the three, so it's a pretty clean handicap. They don't take a lot of three-point shots. Neither does New Mexico, though. So there's not a lot of random variance in this game, with the underdogs shooting lights out from three, which is something you always worry about, and that's why March Madness is madness. Both these teams score from two-point range, and I think Michigan State does it better. They're always one of the most physical big teams in the country, great offensive rebounding team. So we're going to be able to take that three-point variance out of this game. I do like Michigan State. The early money has pushed it from 6.5 up to -7, and the total has been bumped from 146.5 up to 148 now. I agree, Michigan State -7 matches up well here against New Mexico. That's your late game in Cleveland at 8:40 Eastern. All right, we're halfway down. 4 games down, 4 more to go for Sunday. If you're finding this video useful, thumbs up, like, comment below, and I will keep it going for every game of the NCAA tournament as I've done so far. Don't forget also, if you want my official best bets, they're available every day on my page, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. And right now, I do have a 3-day special for this weekend, 3 days and nights for just $49. 1 day is $39. But with promo code 3DAY, you get 3 days and nights for just $49, just $10 more. That's just $5 for the second and third day. And you got to use promo code 3DAY, the number 3, D-A-Y. Now, I do have 2 strong best bets late Saturday, so if you're joining me Saturday afternoon, early evening, you can still get the Saturday games. If not, get the Sunday games, get Monday, Tuesday. You figure out which 3-day all access works well for you, but do it this weekend because you can use promo code 3DAY and get an instant discount down to just $49 for 3 days of all sports. That's college basketball and pro basketball. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, and get there quicker with shortcut WT.buzz/SM. All right, we'll keep it rolling here. Now we're going to move over to the South region. These games in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on Sunday evening, 7:45 Eastern. We do have Mississippi and Iowa State. Iowa State right now 10th in the Ken Palms. They're a very dangerous team, talented team, a little bit shorthanded, banged up with some recent injuries. But when they play their A game, they're tough. Thing is, they don't always bring their A game, and I do think Mississippi could be a bit of a dangerous dog in this game. Looked really good against North Carolina and won by 7, but were leading by even more early in that game. Just 8 for 20 from three-point range. They did really hold UNC to three-point trouble, though, 5 for 24, so that was a little misleading for that reason. But they can be competitive in this game, and I think they're once again a live dog here in this one. Line open 5.5. It's been bet down a little to 5. Totals held steady around 145.5 and 146. As far as the matchup in this game, both teams play upper tempo, so no pace edge here. Mississippi does give up a lot of threes, but they defend it well. Once again, as I said, they allowed North Carolina to take 24 shots from 3. They only made 5 of them, and they do have the 3-point defensive edge, I think, in this game. Iowa State likes to score from the free throw line. Mississippi does allow teams to get a lot of points there. That could be the one weakness in this game. But otherwise, I think this one goes down to the wire. And one thing that also stands out to me, both teams love to force turnovers. They're both top 40 in pressure defense. Mississippi, the 3rd lowest turnover offense in the country. Iowa State just 159, 159. That might be the difference in this game is turnovers, and I think Mississippi is a live dog at +5. All right, your other game at 5 o'clock Eastern is Illinois-Kentucky. Should be a shootout, and without a surprise, it's the highest total on the board by far for Sunday. Current line on the total right now, open 169.5. It's already up to 170, even 170.5. As you know, we always look to play the highest totals over, the lowest totals under, and I think the over makes a lot of sense in this game as both teams will get up and run. Kentucky, a very up and inconsistent team. So has been Illinois. So this is a tricky side to handicap in this game. I do think Kentucky is the better squad overall. But these teams rate pretty equally on a lot of metrics. It just depends on which Illinois team shows up. They look pretty good on Friday, and this line, Kentucky actually opened as a 1-point favorite. Now they're a 1.5-point dog, 2-point dog in some spots. So we did see the early sharp money come on Illinois, but once again, I'm going to focus more on the total in this game. I think it will be a shootout. Both teams play a top 20 tempo in the country, so it should be an incredibly fast-paced. Both offenses are great. Both defenses are mediocre at times, and neither team forces a lot of turnovers. So it'll be a fast-paced game with both teams scoring in transition. Definitely like the over 170 in this one on Sunday. All right, final two games come in the West region and Seattle, Washington, both on the nighttime card Sunday. We'll start with maybe the most underrated team in the tournament. Nobody is talking about Maryland, and they face 12-seed Colorado State. Maryland opened as a 7-point favorite. It's now up to 7.5. A little bit of early sharp money on the Terps. They currently rank top 10 right now in the KenPom, actually 11th, I think, almost top 10 in the KenPom rankings. Yet I haven't heard a single person talk about them. I mentioned them in the video Friday. I told you I leaned towards Maryland Friday against Grand Canyon. I respected Grand Canyon after winning the tournament game last year, but it didn't matter. Maryland beat them by 32, just a blowout win. And they were only 7 for 16 from three-point range. Wasn't anything really misleading about it. And now they face a Colorado State team that's coming in here once again as a 12 seed, but they were favored in that game, of course, against a vastly overrated Memphis squad, so I'm not going to read too much into that. So they faced an overrated 5 seed. Now they're facing an underrated 4 seed. Maryland, solid team defensively, especially. They're one of the top 5 defensive teams in the country right now, so I do think they have a huge defensive edge in this one. Colorado State takes a lot of threes, but Maryland doesn't allow a lot of threes, and they have a good 3-point defense. So once again, a little less likely here that the underdog can get hot from 3. So I do agree with that early sharp money move. Maryland's gone from -7 up to 7.5, but I do feel like they remain an underrated team here in this year's tournament overall. All right, let's finish it off here with the final game in the West region on Saturday night at 9:40 Eastern, Oregon and Arizona. Seattle, Washington. Obviously, Oregon will have a little bit of a crowd edge still, but Arizona's used to going up here as well. These are two former Pac-12 teams that are now Big Ten and Pac-12. And I bring that up, though, because Oregon is always a difficult team to prepare for on short notice. They mix up their defensive schemes. They'll go man, they'll go zone. And Dana Altman's one of the best coaches, and he's done that for years, even at the mid-major level, and he's done it with Oregon as well. Blew out Liberty. I mentioned that Liberty had only lost 1 game by more than 5 points all season. Well, now they've lost 2 games by more than 5 points as they got blown out by 29. They were never in that game Friday night. But now it's a huge step up in class for Oregon against Arizona. And Arizona being in the conference recently means they are more familiar with the Ducks than another team might be. I think Tommy Lloyd will be ready, and the 1 day of prep will be less of an issue. They also coming off an easy blowout win against Akron. I mentioned that game here in the video for you on Friday that I thought Arizona was a little underrated, and they blew them out. Arizona and Oregon don't rely too heavily on the 3, and Arizona has the better offense from 2-point percentage and defense, so they match up well down low. And if neither team relies much on the 3, it's going to be more transition scoring and scoring from the free throw line. And I think Arizona has the edge in this game. As far as the line, open 4.5, but we've seen the early money actually come in on Oregon down to 3.5. Totals held steady at 153. All right, quick hitter here. I'm digging into these games as I did the video for you. I've got a lot more handicapping to go. I'll have my Sunday best bets up soon. I do have 2 late games for Saturday night, so if you're joining us on mid-afternoon, early evening Saturday, go ahead and get that 3-day pass for Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Or if you're joining us Sunday, do Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, because it's all access, college hoops, and pro basketball, 3 days and nights for just $49. 1 day is $39. 3 days with promo code 3DAY is just $49 this weekend only. 3DAY. Use that promo code on the 3-day all access for just $49. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, and check out the daily free play I post as well. And get there quicker, WT.buzz/SM. Don't forget also to follow me on social media on X and Instagram at Steve Merril, 2 R's, 1 L, at Steve Merril on X and Instagram. Thumbs up, like, comment below, and I'll keep these free play videos coming. Best of luck, and I'll talk to you again soon right here on WagerTalk TV.